Lovecraft LSD that turns you into a fucking demon. And he does a little bit of it. And this is when the film kind of takes a turn. Um, that's what people would say, it takes a turn, but it really kind of just follows the same revenge path, but it's just a little fucking more crazy. And now we're following a character that is like descending down the same path as these demonic people. He's now descended into madness at this point, or he's allowing himself to go into this madness. And now we go to the scene with the final demon, and the demon's in front of this burning car. And the scene work here is interesting because I think it's chosen as well to indicate that we are seeing the world through Nicolas Cage's eyes, in a sense. A lot of almost post-apocalyptic looking landscapes, a lot of rubble, strange mountainous terrain, kind of. And Nick Cage shoots a fucking bolt through this demon's neck, and the demon dude just like plies it out. And like I was going to say before, but I had to go back and let you know that Nicolas Cage did he did some alien LSD, which is important to know. I wanted to talk about how, yes, these demon bikers were supposedly once human, and that for all intents and purposes, they are human because they can die in human ways. But this is not human, what this thing does. It takes a bolt to the throat that would kill anything, and it pulls it out, and blood spurts out, and then the blood stops. Like, there's not much blood pouring out of this guy. And this dude has, like, a face, like, to describe it, there's no face really to see. It's just like a carapace. Like, imagine, like, almost like a mask of scale. I don't know. It's really kind of strange looking. He's the coolest looking demon, no doubt. And then Nicolas Cage proceeds to fight this thing with... Oh my god. I'm missing scene by scene because the movie is so fucking bonkers. That's a problem with this movie, is that there are scenes in it that really don't make any fucking sense. Discuss that in a minute. Nicolas Cage fights this thing with an axe that he made. Because after he gets the Reaper bow, back when he was talking to the black guy, he forges an axe that looks like it's straight out of Dungeons and Dragons. How he has this ability to forge this axe, how he has the mold for it, or the skill, or anything about it, never explained. Doesn't matter. It's fucking awesome. It's also a fucking plot hole. I mean, you can't deny it. So, moving on, Nicolas Cage fights this demon with a fucking demon-killing axe. And he fucking kills it, and, but also somehow that demon knew that Mandy was burned, and the demon did not stick around to see her get burned. So that was interesting. It was like, she still burns, and he just fucking cuts his fucking head off. And then Nicolas Cage proceeds to light a cigarette on the demon's decapitated, burning head. And then in the next scene, we see Mr. Cage hunting down the cult itself. And in the next scene, we see Jeremiah's right-hand man driving a van, and there are some caltrops that Nicolas Cage got from the apartment the demons had kind of stolen. They had equipment in there, and he took some of these caltrops, like these tire rending devices, and he has them on the road, and he blows their tires out, and then he proceeds to walk up, punch the dude in the face, and then stick the sharp end of his axe into the dude's throat and jam it all the way through the back of this fucking asshole's head. He totally fucking deserves it, though. He's a fucking douche. He even has the audacity to talk about like how well Mandy burned right in front of a blood-soaked Nicolas Cage. Dumb move. So he kills this dude, and Nicolas Cage does not kill this one cult chick who's with him, who happens to seem like the most innocent one of them all. And there was also the girl who had put the revolver, Jeremiah had forced to play Russian roulette in front of Nick Cage when he was getting crucified or whatever. So, that being said, moving on, you see the next cult member polishing a car, and Nick Cage throws his fucking axe and sticks it into this fucking dude's head, kills that guy. Moving on, Nick Cage is driving. So basically what's going on here, scene by scene, is Nick systematically killing these people. And he kills his way to... Well, he doesn't keep killing. Like, there isn't, like, a ton of people to kill, but, there's then what I would say is, like, the final real battle of the movie is a chainsaw fight. It's pretty dope. I can't say it's not like the wet dream of like a punk rocker and a fucking heavy metal or a death metal band member. Like, it's just fucking ridiculous. It's gory. It isn't overtly gory. Anyways, Nick Cage kills this guy, moves on, finds this church that this cult has been building, and goes down to the basement of it. There's this weird fucking scene with like the old woman who's like really in love with Jeremiah, and then you see Jeremiah down in the depths of this place, like rubbing a fucking wall, like, and he's like, don't come any closer, God is in this room. Nick Cage throws the fucking head of the old woman. You don't see this death is off screen, but he killed that old woman, and he throws her head, and Jeremiah has this like really odd reaction. He's like, and Jeremiah then proceeds to talk a bunch of shit to Nick Cage, who is obviously by this point like extremely demented, completely insane. He basically is telling Nick Cage that he doesn't have a soul, that he's worthless, that he's just like, that he can help Nick Cage. And then Nick grabs him, and Jeremiah proceeds to beg like a little bitch for his life, even saying that he will suck Nick Cage's dick. And Nick Cage responds by saying, or like the guy, it's funny because the dude like is like, oh, suck your dick, and he's like whining and shit, and then he like starts getting crazy again, and he's like, you should kneel to me, even though Nick Cage has got his fucking face like holding him like down, and then Nick Cage fucking crushes the fucking dude's head with his hands. I'm not lying. He fucking like water. He fucking what is the dude's name from Game of Thrones who gets his fucking head crushed? You know who I'm fucking talking about. The Mountain. He mountains that motherfucker, okay? And then drops him, decapitates those fuckers, lights them on fire, burns the whole fucking shit down. And then we're brought to the final scene of Mandy, where Nicolas Cage is in his car, driving, and he's hallucinating, and he sees Mandy in the side seat of his car. He's looking at her, and then we're cut to a subtle past scene. It's implied that it's the past. I mean, you can just tell of him. I guess it would, in my best opinion, it would be like the first meeting, the first time you ever saw Mandy is at this party. He's smoking a joint. There's no dialogue, but it's just them looking at each other, and then a tear drop, and then you see he's looking at Mandy in the car. And then it shows Nick Cage, normal, and then it shows what he really looks like. And he's completely deranged, completely insane. Smiling like this, completely crazy. And then the camera pans out to the landscape. Alien crazy landscape. Huge jutting buttes and mesas and fucking crags and shit. It looks like a fucking alien planet. And then the movie is fucking... Oh, there's like also two planets. The movie's over at this point. The movie is fucking over. So let's just go through that real quick. Real fucking quick. 3 parts. Nick Cage with his wife. Cult. They want Nick Cage Nick Cage's wife, the cult leader, they summon demons. The demons come and they take Nick Cage's wife from him. They tie Nick Cage up. Mandy embarrasses Jeremiah. Jeremiah burns her to death in front of Nick Cage. Nick Cage then escapes and then kills everyone. And that's the movie, if you really want to get down to it. There's a scene that I skipped between the demon killing and the cult killing, and I should talk about it because I have talked about the entire film in full, and that is how he finds the cult. It's this scene where he shows up at this, what looks like a large like storage crate almost, and there's a dude making LSD inside. Sorry mom and dad, I have done some acid before and I know what making LSD looks like. Not that I've been in some huge project or whatever. No, I'm kidding. But the dude's making LSD with his bare hands, and he's got a fucking tiger in a cage. It's a totally weird fucking scene, almost completely out of place. Nicolas Cage, no dialogue. The dude having some kind of psychic connection with Nick Cage, releases his fucking tiger. By the way, he releases the tiger. I'm not joking. Like, this is a real fucking tiger that this drug dealer has in a cage. And the drug dealer tells Nick Cage where this cult is, essentially. He says north or whatever. And that's how Nick finds these people. And so that's a scene in the movie. I just had to go back and be like, so for the first time of me doing this, I would have to say I did a pretty fucking shitty job. I should have definitely like written some of this down or whatever. But anyways, I got through it. About 38 minutes. Now let's talk about what I think the movie dropped the ball on. Because I guess that's really what I really want to talk about. And I think the biggest ball dropped was the demon artifacts and the demon lore, or the demonic lore going on here that is just touched on but never fully realized. And so this horn of Abraxas, like, where did someone like Jeremiah get this horn? Because to me, he's a little fucking bitch. And there's no way, like, how is this guy getting demon artifacts? I don't know. It's never explained. The second demon artifact, and arguably the only other one in the movie, the dagger of the Pale Knight that is stabbed in Nick Cage's side. And it is a fucking demon thing. It's got a fucking eye in the pommel. It's fucking crazy looking.